Go.
Knicks fans, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Simeon Russell, coming at you with nothing but Knicks. We just seen a big win from the Knicks over the Lakers, and we about to go ahead and get this poppin'. Here we go. Let's recap the game real fast. I see you guys logging in. I hope you guys can see the chat up on the screen. And we're trying to do some things. And what's going on, guys? What's going on? It's a good day. Yeah, Frankie looked good. Well, anyway, KP had 37 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks. He was doing it tonight. He looked a little bit tired in the fourth. I have to say that. Looked a little bit tired in the fourth. But for the most part, KP was doing it. And I really did. I like what I saw from him. He played a heck of a game. What I like is that we played against a team that's basically our age tonight, right? We played against the Lakers, another young team, real young, with a bunch of young guys, 20-year-old guys. Back in the studio, man. I like being back in the studio. Still working out some things to make sure everything is right, but I like being in the studio. I don't really like being away from the studio as much. I like to be in the studio, but I like that we played against another young team, and we KP showed we play against a young team. Those guys can't deal with them. They're not strong enough. They're not ready for them. KP's on another level with those guys, right? And then Frank, of course, showed, when he's playing with some guys his size, his age, what he can do. He was more aggressive scoring the ball. Fourth quarter, he was cooking. I think he had 8 points in the fourth quarter. Right, couple of had some big shots in there, so I like the win. Definitely like the win. Like what we were doing. One thing I do want to say about KP, one thing I've noticed, not only in this game, but I've noticed it in a few other games. KP, he's got to get used to passing out of that double team. A couple times tonight, the Lakers. They did a really good job. The Lakers did a really good job of waiting until KP or whoever they were going to double, waiting until they put the ball on the floor to make a move, and then they came to double. Right, and it bothered the Knicks a lot tonight. So I think, we're going to get to Frank and talk about Frank versus Ball. We're going to get to him. But it bothered KP a little bit, bothered some other guys as well. But I think that, KP has to learn how to catch the ball. If he's going to be in that post, catch the ball, see the double team and where it's coming from, and then make a pass out of it. Because sometimes he's catching the ball. Exactly, Marty. He's having a hard time passing out of that double team. He catches the ball and he turns and he's looking to go. And then, boom, guys are collapsing on him. And they're taking it from him. It's a turnover. He's got to learn. When he turns, look to see where that double team is coming from, right? And because KP puts his head down and goes, the Lakers did a really good job of waiting until he put the ball on the floor to make his move and then doubling. So, that's something that he's got to work on. That's just nitpicking really for tonight, just nitpicking. But he'll learn. He'll learn. It's his first time being the man on his squad, right? So he's going to learn how to deal with those double and triple teams. I guess it's just part of, it's part of the maturation, part of the growth of KP. He's got to learn those type of things. And he'll get there. From the blind, yeah, exactly, Ralph. He always gets doubled from his blind side. Teams are getting smart with him. Yep. Yeah, right, Nate. Nate. I say the Lakers did a good job, but KP dropped 37. So but they did do a good job. Yeah, let's talk Frank. You guys want to get to Frank? We're gonna go ahead and get to Frank. Frank Ntilikina. I'm really glad. I'm really, 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 really glad that he had the kind of game he had tonight. He pulled through in that fourth quarter. Really, really, really playing like he belonged there. And what we've been saying all along is that if Frank gets the minutes, he's going to continue to get better and better and better and better. And he's showing it tonight. Exactly, Pablo. Love to see him aggressive. He's being aggressive out there. He's taking his shots when they're available, going to the basket. Only one turnover tonight. Exactly. One turnover tonight. We can't say enough about what Frank is doing or has done in this game. He didn't back down from he didn't back down from the competition. He didn't back down from being in the spotlight. This game was definitely in the spotlight. You're playing against Lonzo Ball and the Lakers on ESPN during prime time, and he stepped up. And hopefully people will see what he is. Yeah, Frank locked them up a little bit, right? Lonzo had 0 points in the fourth quarter. 0 points in the fourth. Who's Dennis Smith? Yeah, who's Dennis Smith Jr.? I see you, Noah. I hear you. But he locked up Lonzo in that fourth quarter. He played really good defense. I think he had, what do you have? Two steals tonight. We're just waiting to see when he's going to really start taking over the team, when coach is going to hand him the keys. Why is there so many damn Laker fans in MSG cheering? That's the Lakers, man. They got fans everywhere. One of my best friends is a Lakers fan, and he texts me like, oh, the Lakers giving the Knicks some run tonight. I haven't texted him back yet, because I wanted to get ready for this. But I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him later on. But, yeah, it kind of got me mad, too, though. There's a lot of Laker fans in the crowd tonight. Knicks fans, we got to do better. We got to get out there. We got to come out. We got to come out. Yeah, Lakers, they're worldwide. Yep, that's true, Noah. Frank, he's a humble kid. He doesn't really get out and celebrate. He hits a big shot, and then he comes back and just plays ball. Comes back and plays ball. You know what I'm saying? Jeffrey, I want to talk about that. Ball sweater, man. That was I wasn't feeling that. You can't disrespect the king like that. Nas is my favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? You can't disrespect the king. So, I'm glad he took the L tonight. And I think we should get on Twitter and send Lonzo Ball a whole bunch of pictures with Frank, that Nilmatic cover that we made. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, Captain. He's great moving off the ball. I like that Jeff Hornacek is doing that. He's moving Frank off the ball when he's bringing in Jarrett Jack, and instead of bringing Frank out early, moving Frank off the ball, letting him play a little bit of 2 or 3 or whatever it is. And I think that's working, especially right now with Tim Hardaway out. That's definitely working. And then, we found a little something that we can do. So, when Tim Hardaway gets back, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get back into the game and those type of things. You can still use Frank in that shooting guard spot. So we're learning something. We're learning something here. He played the whole fourth quarter. Exactly, Gary. He played the whole fourth. Played the whole fourth quarter, and it's good to see that. It's good to see he's getting it. Joe Black, it's time. Yeah. Hashtag that. We're gonna use that hashtag definitely. I seen a couple of people. We picking it up. Mighty Knicks. I see you said it a couple of times. We're gonna hashtag that. We're gonna. That's us. That's what people gonna know us as. Lance Thomas played good defense on Ingram. If you notice, Melra 721, you said if you notice Frank's sweet spot is the same as Jack's. You know what? And that has to come from mentoring, right? Because Jack is mentoring Frank. I'm sure in practice they work on some of the same shots and figure out where they're going to get shots at within the offense. And they work on it together. There you go. Does Frank need to start when he's getting 30 minutes? Well, how many minutes did he have tonight? Frank had 28 minutes tonight. He doesn't need to start. I see what you're saying, Jeffrey. No, I'm not saying he doesn't need to start. He can still get 30 minutes and give us the same production. The need is for him to get those 28 minutes per night. That's the need, right? He needs to get those 28 minutes per night. Rafael Diaz, good question. Why no Hernan Gomez? I think the reason why we're probably not seeing Hernan Gomez, we didn't see Hernan Gomez tonight, is I don't know that Hernan Gomez would have been able to keep up with them guys. This is what I say about the Lakers. They're young, of course. They have a lot of athletes. They're active, right? They're really active. They get their hands in there. They play aggressively on defense. They slash and they cut. They get up and down the floor. I don't see where Hernan Gomez would have been able to play defense. I think he would have gotten eaten up tonight. Why do you think Kanter didn't play that much in the second half? He just doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with those kind of players. And I was really concerned for a lot of the games. For a lot of this game, I'm sorry, I was concerned because of the way that the Lakers play. They're so active and so quick to the ball and create so many distractions out there on the floor. It's hard for the Knicks a lot of times to get into their spots. If KP didn't have the game that he was having, we would have lost that game. KP really brought it through for us, and then Frank came in and pulled it home for us in the fourth. And that's why we didn't see Hernan Gomez. That's why we didn't see Kanter. That's why we didn't see Kylo Quinn, because Kylo Quinn couldn't keep up with them guys. And Beasley was the perfect guy that could come in there. He can score, he can rebound, he can get to the basket. He had a couple of defensive lapses. We know that's coming from Beasley. But he was the perfect guy to be able to get in there and produce for us tonight. Yeah. Should Lance still start? Staten Island Knicks fan. I think the reason that Lance is starting, one, I think you want to set the tone defensively. So I think he starts so he can set that tone defensively. And then you might not want to disrupt your bench, right? Because the bench has good chemistry. They come in and not every night do they come in and give us a big boost, but they come in and they perform for us for the most part. And I think Lance Thomas throughout the season has been kind of in or out. And by putting them in the starting lineup, you keep your bench intact, right? And then so you adjust your starting lineup a little bit, keep the bench intact. Could Dougie Fresh start? He probably could, but then you miss some of that defensive aggressiveness to start up the game. So I think that Hornacek is probably going to keep it this way, and see where it goes from here until Tim Hardaway gets back. Frank plays better with KP and Beasley. I want to. I've got to pay attention to that, Marty, and see. I'm going to look at that. I want to go back to, I forgot who it was, but asked the question about. I think it was Jeffrey. Asked the question about does Frank need to start if he's getting 30 minutes? And I think the difference that we'll see is that if Frank is starting, he's going to play with a different group, right? If he's going to start the game, he's going to start the game with KP, Courtney Lee, Cantor, in those guys, Tim Thomas, Lance Thomas. And we'll get to see him with the starters, right? So you may see shots open up a little bit more for him if he's playing more minutes with the starters, because there's going to be more people out there to take pressure off of him. You might see a little bit of a different game if he plays with the starters. So maybe that's why some people would really like to see him get out there with the starters, to see what kind of game that he plays with the starters, because we don't see him with the starters much. Usually when he gets in, he's playing as him and Doug McDermott, Kyle O'Quinn, so now throughout the game, sometimes they mix it in there and he gets in there with the starters a little bit. But I think that's the reason why people want to see him with the starters. I'd like to see him with the starters and just kind of see, what he looks like with them. But if he's getting 30 minutes, I'm not going to complain. He may, and that's true too, Tony Crow, he may be less aggressive. If he's playing with the starters, he may not be as aggressive, right? He may defer a little bit more. So who knows what would happen. But I guess people want to see what's going to happen if he's playing with the starters. Because we already have Cantor who can. If Frank starts, he might start going, yeah. Funny, Marty, funny. Ralphie says, I am more concerned for the Knicks than I am for the Lakers. Why? Because the Lakers competed all the way to the end of overtime. Rafael Diaz, you said you're more concerned for the Knicks than you are of the Lakers. I don't understand that. I'm not understanding your comment. Hornacek needs to run more P&R for Frank. They run a lot of P&R. Yes, they run a lot of pick and roll. I would like to see Frank start to look to attack off that pick and roll a little bit more. Frank usually comes off the pick and roll and he's looking to hit the hit the roller. I'd like to see him get out there and attack off that screen and roll. I like Jack playing early and Frank playing late. Frank is cool in crunch time. Yeah, Frank is good in crunch time, and his defense is needed in crunch time. Definitely. He plays. He just knows where to be. Just like when who was it, Kuzma or whoever it was, hit that three to tie the game. The ball went from Kuzma down to the corner. Frank closed out. Beasley didn't fill the spot like he was supposed to, and that's why Kuzma was able to get that wide open three. But I like Frank. I like his defense in the fourth quarter. Next year, Knicks will be back, King Chris. The Knicks have a chance to make the playoffs this year. I'm not writing off this year. Not writing off this year yet. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gotta love it. Love these colors. Yeah, he almost dropped them, but he didn't finish with it. He didn't finish. James Willie, I seen the crossover, but he didn't go. He didn't go all the way. But he'll get there. He'll get it. The Knicks need to compete on the road. Yeah, that's the next thing. they gotta step it up on the road. If the Knicks can take this, package it up, and bring it out on the road, and step up on the road, then you really can say that they're a respected playoff team. I hear you, King Chris. And in order for the Knicks to do that, become a respected playoff team, they're going to have to start pulling some things out on the road. We go on the road Thursday to Brooklyn, kind of on the road, right? Hopefully, we should be able to, hopefully we can get there and win that. But later on, next month, and I'm gonna do an episode about it. We got some serious games on the road, right? And we're gonna have to man up, because if we don't, we can lose our footing right now. We can lose our footing and where we are right now. So we definitely need to start pulling this thing out on the road. As you see, I see us Asante Bird. You see us as a 42 win team. If we win 42 games this year, we make the playoffs. So let me ask you guys that. Since Asante brought it up, how many wins do you see us getting this year? Sorry about that. That's what I want to know. How many wins do you guys see this year? I mean, I think that's that's definitely a 42 wins, 44, 40, what I see, 40, 42, 44, 35, 46. If we can pull that off, man, that'd be pretty nice. The second half of the season is going to be tough for us, right? And don't mind me right now. I'm kind of looking at this audio a minute to see if I can. I wanted to bring some stats up, but I didn't want to cut my audio off. Vladimir Kalabo, 50. I don't think we get 50 wins this year. I think we can get somewhere in that upper 30s. And if we're lucky, we can maybe get to that 40, 41, somewhere around there. But I don't know if we get 50. That's a big number. That's a big number this year. Hey, Justin Remedy said, "You see what happened when KP plays with Beasley." I really do. I'm with you, Justin. And with that, we might as well transition over and talk about Beasley a little bit. I do like seeing Beasley play with KP. I definitely like seeing Beasley play with KP. The scoring threat is real when you got KP and you got Beasley on the floor. The problem is that Beasley, he's got to continue to he's got to bring it defensively. He's got to make the right defensive rotations and those type of things. He's got to keep it together up here. If he keeps it together up there, then we're good. But KP at the 5, Beasley at the 4. That's in that fourth quarter we had, what do we have? KP at the 5, Beasley at the 4. We had Frank at the 1, Courtney Lee at the 2, and we had Dougie Fresh at the 3. And that's pretty dynamic, I think, right there. And having Beasley at that 4 spot, and KP at the 5 going small that way. Now we had to go small tonight, right? Because that's how the Lakers went, and that's the one thing we're versatile enough where we can go small, we can go big if we have to. But having KP at that 4 spot and KP at the 5, it looks nice, it looks good, and I think we'll see more of it. Yeah, Beasley's post game is tough. He's tough to stop down there. I think that Beasley has earned some time though. He's earned. Of course, he's starting to get more playing time. We see it, but I would like to see Beasley start to get a little bit more than maybe Kyle O'Quinn, just because he's more versatile and he can rebound just about as good as Kyle O'Quinn. Defensively, he's not as good as Kyle O'Quinn, but I guess, yeah, J.R. Beasley looks unfocused at times. He does. Sometimes sometimes defensively he gets caught ball watching and he doesn't get out to his man like we saw tonight. I've seen that a lot from him. But Beasley, he brings us something that Kyle O'Quinn doesn't on the offensive end. And then Kyle O'Quinn brings something he doesn't on the defensive end. But sometimes Kyle O'Quinn makes some boneheaded mistakes too. Rafael Diaz says, what do you feel about Kyle O'Quinn and Hernan Gomez going forward since we have 4 centers? It's hard to say right now. Hernan Gomez, we don't know what Hernan Gomez is going to bring. He hasn't been getting much playing time. I really think they should bring him down, send him down to the G League and let him play. Let him get down there and play. I think that I don't know if we can get anything in a trade for him right now because his value is super low. The only way I see you get anything in a trade for Hernan Gomez is if he's included in a larger package. You're not going to get anything with him by himself. Kyle O'Quinn, I think Kyle O'Quinn is still a good player off the bench, and I think he's probably made himself such a large part of the team off the floor and in the locker room that he's the kind of guy you probably try to keep around, and he's on a good contract. But, if you ever see Kyle O'Quinn, if you pay attention to the things that he does on the sideline, and, he really is one of those guys that brings a team together, not just on the floor, but, in the locker room and things like that. So I'm not sure. I'm sure if the right package came along, they'll send him on his way. But I think right now, I don't think they're looking to move Kyle O'Quinn right now because he can, he can bring some things. And he plays good defense. He can shoot it from mid range a little bit. He's a heck of a passer. Kyle O'Quinn definitely can pass the ball. He finds Doug McDermott and guys cutting to the basket a lot. So I think he probably stays around, and I think, I don't know, Hernan Gomez. He's young. They may not want to give up on him right now, and they may look, thinking about it. They could, if Hernan Gomez gets his, if he can get his defense up, then you could see Kyle O'Quinn get moved if they feel that Hernan Gomez could fill in his shoes, fill in his spot, because Kyle O'Quinn has a larger contract than Hernan Gomez. But right now, I think that I think Kyle O'Quinn, is kind of safe here for a little bit, just because of some of the things that he brings as far as chemistry and on the floor. And I seen someone say something about Noah, bringing in Noah and not Kyle O'Quinn. Noah has a role on the team right now, kind of, I think, as a a player coach, kind of. I think he's here really to teach the young guys. You can't move him because of his contract. We don't know how much he can really give us right now. He doesn't fit into the rotation. And, everyone that's on the team is younger. All of our bigs are younger. So I don't think Noah's going to get into the rotation unless we need him in some of these during the end of the season. If we're fighting for a playoff spot, we're in the playoffs, then maybe we see Noah do something. Then his role might pick up a little bit, because he has that experience that some of our young guys just don't have. But right now, Noah's not going to give us much. Yeah, that's another thing, Marty, and I guess someone else must have said it a little bit earlier. They probably don't want to move Billy because I think I called him Willie earlier. Billy, they probably don't want to move Billy because that's KP's buddy. And they want KP. They want to keep KP as comfortable as possible. Yeah, Kyle Quinn is a glue guy. Yep, he's a glue guy. Robert Watkins, welcome to the crew, man. I don't know if I've seen you before. Welcome to the crew. KO is getting traded. They're showcasing them. You think? You think so? I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get closer. Things are going to start heating up. Today's what? The 12th? Today's the 12th. I think players who signed in the off season can begin to get traded as of December the 15th, I believe. So things will probably start heating up. People who feel like they made mistakes in the summertime with players that they signed, they'll start making calls and some things like that. So, we'll see. I'm sure things are going to start picking up in a little bit now that players can be, I think in the next couple of days, players can be moved. So we'll see. Would you trade Tim for the Brooklyn pick? Whew, that's a tough. I don't know. Maybe. But you know what? It's hard to say, man, because the draft is a crapshoot. Right? You don't know. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get. You may look at someone and say, "Oh, he's a surefire superstar," and gets in the league and doesn't do anything. We've seen it happen time and time again. Time and time again. And right now with Tim Hardaway, we know what we have with Tim Hardaway Jr. And we know what we're gonna get. But who knows? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I guess when that's true, the Nets might not be as good of a pick. I guess he was saying if the pick was number 1, would you trade for it? So who knows? Now I see someone said, Frank, you said I'm killing you. Wow, what's up with that, man? I'm killing you. Why am I killing you? Am I surprised Lonzo played well at the Garden? No. That's the reason why Lonzo, his family wanted him to go to the Lakers. He's a baller, man, and he's going to step up in the spotlight. People are always talking about, Lonzo and his scoring and things like that. He's going to be really good. I think he's going to be a baller. He's going to be a player for a long time to come. I mean, the kid's almost averaging a triple-double now. He's going to be a baller for a long time to come. Tim for Kemba. No, I don't think I would right now. Only reason why I wouldn't. Kemba is really, really good. And he's really dynamic. and all of that. But I like long players. And Tim Hardaway Jr. isn't super long, but he's 6'6". Kemba's small. I like long. I like length. I like guys that are long, guys that can get their hands get their arms in the passing lanes. I like length, and I wouldn't want to trade away length for and get smaller, because I think the league is going longer. Justin Remedy, do you realize how Ron Baker locked up Jordan Clarkson? I think and hope we are shaping up defensively. I hope so. And, we went through a rocky, we had a little bit of a rocky period when, what's his name? Tim Hardaway Jr. went out, of course. That should be expected, because we had to look at the lineups and see who was going to fit where. And maybe we're starting to come around into the lineups and start to, and the chemistry is coming back. Then, we're going to have to go through a change of game when Hardaway comes back. But it shouldn't be as much of a change. And we should have developed a little bit more chemistry and learned a little bit more about ourselves with Hardaway out. So maybe someone said a while ago this could be a blessing in disguise, and maybe so. JR, Tim Hardaway Jr. is our draft pick that has continued to develop. He should stay as one of the core. Phil Jackson traded him away. I don't think the organization wanted that. He was our draft pick. And, we'll see. I'm not going to lie. I have my qualms. I had my qualms in the beginning of the season about Hardaway. But, he's changed me over. I'm not going to lie. He's changed me over. GG Facepalm. The Knicks are still missing a star wing player. A three-man. They're missing a three-man, I think. Yep, I think that they're missing a long three-man that can play defense, shoot the ball, create a shot. Someone like that. Young guy. Yeah, yep. Mills drafted Hardaway. Phil traded him. That's why Mills brought him back. Right now, Captain, I agree with you. The Knicks shouldn't trade anybody, look to attract free agents. They probably shouldn't trade anyone. But, people always make moves at the deadline. And sometimes, you make some moves that are cap-related so that you can have more flexibility in the offseason. And I think at the deadline, those are the type of trades that we'll see. If anything happens, I think it'll be more moves that are just related to clearing up space, clearing up any gluts that we have, and trying to bring in somebody that, making room for somebody. Staten Island Knicks fan asks, do you listen to Knicks Home Court? I have before. I actually asked them if they would come and join us on the show and talked about doing something live together. Haven't heard back. If you know them, get in touch with them. Tell them, let's connect. Let's do some collaboration together. We didn't vote. Robert. We didn't vote tonight. We didn't fold tonight. I was a little bit afraid of this game when I started to, when we started playing and just how active the Lakers were. I was a little bit scared. I was a little bit nervous. But we didn't fold and we pulled it out. How did we draft the wrong Kuz and get the wrong Greek Freak? Hey, man, good question. You know what? That's the luck of the draw sometimes. It happens that way. Wilson Chandler, welcome back. I like Wilson Chandler. I've always liked Wilson Chandler. I think if he came back, he'd be a good guy. He'd be a good. I don't know if he comes back to be a starter at this point, but I've always liked Wilson Chandler. I think he can produce. I hated to trade him. At the time I understood why, but I always liked Wilson Chandler. He's a little bit older. That's why I don't know if you bring him back to start. Play Noah at the 3. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know what threes he's hitting. Noah as small forward would be deadly. Okay. I'll hold my breath for the day Hornacek tries that one out. Knicks trump 2016. Why do people hate on Beasley? He doesn't play defense, but most stars don't. You know what? Here's my answer to that. Knicks trump 2016. You might be right. A lot of stars may not play defense. But Beasley's not a star, right? Beasley is a role player. And I think when you're a role player, you've got to do the things the stars don't do. You got to be out there playing defense, right? You don't get the same luxury that the stars get. So that's the reason why people get on Beasley, because if you're not a star, you're not going to get the same luxury. It just happens that way. That's sports. So you got to bring it in all facets of the game. I'm going to say he's better now defensively than he was a few years ago. I think so. I see the effort. Justin Remedy, you asked, what's my opinion on Beasley and Harden? You mean James Harden? I'm not sure what you mean. Clay doesn't want to go. You say, I believe you should play to your strength, not your weakness. I agree with you, Nick Chump. I think we should. Players should play to their strength. But coaches also have to coach to the team's strength, right? And coaches have to play the players that are going to get done what he wants to get done. Whatever the coach's philosophy is, players got to buy into that. And they've got to play to their, they've got to play that style of basketball. And if your coach wants to play a defensive style and believes that when you get on the floor, that your strength is your offense and that you're not really bringing it defensively and you're having lapses on defense, then the coach may say, I'm not going to play you. I understand that your strength is offense, but we want to focus on defense. So I get what you're saying, but unless you're someone like James Harden or Russell Westbrook, you can't take a night off in other areas And Michael Beasley's not that. He's good. But he's not those guys. And so, he's got to bring it or you're going to be pulled off the floor. But his strength is offense. And Coach Hornacek knows that. That's why he's brought him in and put him in situations when we needed scoring. Because of that, he's earned more minutes. Tim Hardaway Jr. at the 2, trade for Paul George at the 3. Who do you trade for Paul George? Exactly, Raphael. If you're trading for Paul George, then if you were getting him from OKC, they're not just gonna give him to you, right? Or you're gonna have to give up something to get him, and then you might be giving up all of our young guys. He doesn't want to come to New York anyway. He's not coming here. He's either gonna stay in OKC or probably go to LA. Paul George, I don't think Paul George would ever be in the mix for us. Now, we've seen crazy things happen, but I don't think he'd be in the mix for us. You're right. You're right. Teams, Knicks Trump. You're right. Teams have stars on offense and defense. You got to have both. But when you're a one-way player in the NBA and you're not a star, then you're going to give up some playing time. If you're going to be a one-way player in the NBA, you got to be a star, or else you're going to be giving up some playing time sometimes. But Beasley, he's putting some effort out there. He's definitely putting some effort out on the defensive end. I think some of it is just mentally knowing when to rotate, how to rotate, who to rotate to. Defense, while most of it is physical and most of it is effort, there's still some knowledge that has to be in. You still need some basketball IQ to know who to switch to, when to switch, and stuff like that. Welcome from Rwanda. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. I hope you stay. Keep coming back. Do you think Frank is an all-star in 5 years? I think he has the ability to be an all-star in 5 years. Yep, I think he has the ability. It's going to depend on his development, his work ethic, but I think he has the ability to be that. Do you trust Jabari to stay healthy? I don't know if that question is to me or if it's to someone else in the chat. He's been hurt for his career while he's so far in the NBA. As far as Jabari Parker is concerned, it's hard to say. I don't know. But, for the right contract, I take a chance on him. I definitely take a chance on him for the right contract. Probably Frank's cousin. Hey, guy from Rwanda, if you're Frank's cousin, you got to hook us up. We need to get him on the show. Am I still bothered that we could have gotten Tim for cheaper? Is that question? If that question is to me, not bothered. Maybe we could have, but it is what it is now. And, he's been producing for us. So, I'm good. I'm more concerned with where do we go now and how does the front office manage our cap space now? And, what do we do now and how do we move forward? That's what I'm more concerned with because we got some issues that's going to be coming up. Of course, you got Noah. And they're not going to spread Noah's contract out over the next 5 years. That'd be crazy because then we'll be taking a cap hit forever off of Noah's contract. So that'd be crazy. It's better to just let his contract phase out. You gotta worry. You're gonna have to pay KP soon. You got McDermott, who's going to, they didn't extend them or whatever it was. So we're going to have to deal with that. We got Enes Kanter, who will probably, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's probably going to opt out after this season. So we're going to have to pay Kanter. So we're going to have some decisions to make. So I'm really interested to see how our front office handles the cap this summer, what kind of moves we make to, make our cap to give us the ability to make signings and make moves in the offseason. So I think it's going to be an interesting offseason with this new regime in place. I trust this regime. I don't feel like this regime is star-stricken, where it's like we got to go get stars. I do believe that they're intent on building the right way and looking for the right kind of players to bring in. If an opportunity presents itself, I think they'll jump on it. But I'm really interested to see how they maneuver things to get ready for the offseason. And I think we'll get an idea of the type of things they want to do over the when we get to the trade deadline. I think that'll be a telling sign of some of the things that we might be trying to do going forward. Yeah. So I want to move on to the Brooklyn game. I want to know what do you guys think about the Brooklyn game? What's going to happen? What do you expect to happen? What would you like to see happen in the Brooklyn game? How do we follow up from this game here? Looking at Brooklyn. Of course, we play in Brooklyn. Yeah, we're terrible on the road. But it is in Brooklyn, so we're still close to home. Let me see. When we played them earlier in the season, we beat them 107-86. Of course, that was at home. Porzingis had 30. Kylo Quinn had 12 assists. I'm sorry. Kylo Quinn had 12 rebounds. Frank had 5 assists. Let's see what the is D'Angelo Russell back? They are a sneaky combative team. And if you remember in the preseason, they kind of blew us out. Right? In the preseason, they blew us out every time we played them. So we can leave Kansas to recover from the back injury. Yeah, Kansas hurting right now. The scary thing is we're not a team with a lot of depth, right? And this is a point in the season where we really do need to kind of try to get some separation in our record and make a statement here. But we will probably need Cantor down the road. So it might make sense to rest him a little bit. Let us back. I mean, this man is coming to games on crutches and leaving on crutches, and like they said on the broadcast, playing in between. He might need, because we're definitely gonna, if we don't have Cantor for the long haul, we're not gonna do much. Cantor is too huge of a part of our team, so we definitely need Cantor out there. If you need to rest him, then maybe you rest him. It's kind of good that we got the win tonight without him playing too much in the second half. That gives him a little bit more rest. But against Brooklyn, they like to get it up from three. We're gonna have to guard that 3-point line. Let's see. Let's look at them for a minute. Teams. Haven't really paid attention to Brooklyn too much. They average 108.6 points per game. Their opponent's points per game, they give up 111 points per game. 45 rebounds, 22.2 assists per game. They're a team that can light it up and they can get hot. So we're definitely going to need to guard the three. We're gonna have to come ready to play defensively. What'd you say? McDermott, Jack Sessions, and Beasley all are free agents after this season. Yeah. Man, let me figure out how to get this thing over here, because yeah, so we definitely, they're all free agents after this season, so we definitely need to, we got some things that we got to do this off season, so that's the reason why I'm interested to see what we can do, what our front office is going to do. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted here, trying to see if I can get this thing right. To make sure, so that so you guys can hear me when I pull over a screen. because I like to be able to pull over a screen. All right, I'm gonna test this out. You guys let me know. I'll be able. I'm gonna be able to pull up a chat, but I want to see if when I bring this screen over, if you guys can hear me. All right, I'm sharing the screen now. Now, can you guys hear me? You said I sound like a robot. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, good. Good. Is it clear? All right. Since you guys can hear me, that's great. Great. So I guess I got it fixed. Took care of it. All right. So let's see what we're looking at. 108.6 points per game, 111.1. Opponents they give up 111 points per game. 45.6 rebounds per game, 22.6 assists per game. I guess D'Angelo Russell is out. Is Jahlil Okafor playing? Frank played a good game against he played a good game against them, against Brooklyn. Is Okafor playing? Because he's gonna bring a different look having Okafor there. We hadn't of course, we didn't prepare for Okafor last game. He wasn't there last game. So now we're going to have to prepare for something a little bit different. We're not going to know exactly how the Nets plan to use him until we get to the game on Thursday. So, there's going to be, they got some big boys. You got Timothy Mozgov, you got your little Okafor. So it's going to be a good game, but I think it's a game he should debut. Okay, he should debut. So if he's debuting on Thursday, he may not get as much playing time if he's going to debut on Thursday. He may be he may get a few minutes, but yeah, vape time. Yeah, I get you, man. I never like playing against the Nets anyway. I just don't like to play against the Nets. Is always something. What's up with Tim Hardaway Jr.? I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'm not sure what's up with Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he's supposed to get another evaluation this week. I want to see if we can look at a few more stats with the Nets. I'm gonna go to stats. I'm gonna pull up some stats. Let's look at what the Knicks are doing. I mean the Nets. See what the Nets are doing right now. Let's just get to all teams. Brooklyn. Yeah, 7th in the league in points per game. They shoot what? They shoot 34% from three. I thought earlier in the season they were shooting a lot better than that. 16 turnovers a game. It's definitely a winnable game for us, and it's a team that we should beat. The fact that we're on the road, is going to scare us because we haven't played well on the road. But now looking at the playoff situation, now look at this. We're looking at the playoff situation. So we're tied with Detroit and Washington. at 14-13. Indiana's making a run. They're getting some separation in their record, 16-11. We need this win. If we want to stay in playoff contention, we need this win. We definitely need this win. So it's going to be a fight all season. Miami 13-13, Philadelphia 13-13. Look, Brooklyn's not too far off. I mean, they're only 2.5 games out of that 8th spot. So we need to go in there and win. We can't mess around with these guys. We need to go get us a win because we got to take care of business with the teams we're supposed to take care of business with. Because if we don't, we could find ourselves in trouble. Because I want to take a look for a minute at our the Pacers, man. You say, what's up with the Pacers? I mean, they're playing a little bit of ball. 16-11, they've won 4 straight. Their offense is high powered offense. Yeah, Oladipo, he's legit. It's definitely legit. I want us to look at our record in January real quick. Let's see if I can pull that up. Let me go back to the scores. And the reason why these games right now are so important for us. Okay, we got Brooklyn, OKC. This OKC game, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe if I'm able, maybe I'll broadcast during the game, get on live during the game. We'll see. We play Charlotte. Then we play the Celtics, the Pistons, Philadelphia on Christmas. Now we start really getting on the road, right? We're in Chicago. Chicago. And then back-to-back nights. We're in Chicago, then San Antonio. Then we're in New Orleans. Okay, we're home for San Antonio, but still, that's San Antonio at home. Then we're in Washington. Then we're in Miami. Then we're in Dallas. Then we're back home for the Bulls. Then we're at Minnesota. We're back home for the Pelicans. We play a lot of road games. Then in Brooklyn, Memphis, Utah, the Lakers, Golden State, Denver, Phoenix. Then we're back home finally January 30th to Brooklyn. That's going to be tough. That's a tough schedule right there in January. We got a lot of road games in January, and we had to man up and play some serious games in January because January is going to be tough. Yeah, you know what it is, Ralph? I think when I switched the screens over, let me see this. Might be better now. But January is going to be serious. It's going to be serious. So we're going to have to man up. And I don't know what. I think hopefully it clears up now. It should clear up in a second. But yeah, that's a brutal stretch in January. So we're gonna have to We have to man up. We have to prepare for that. We got to be mentally ready. Maybe it's something we finally get out there on the road, because we haven't really had a long stretch of being on the road. So maybe in January, when we'll have this long stretch of being on the road, maybe we'll get a little bit more comfortable. But right now, we've won one game on the road. One game. That was in Cleveland. Now, January might be our sink or swim month. That might be our sink or swim month. So we've got to take care of these games. We got to take care of these games. Being on the road, maybe being on these long road trips will bring us together enough where we feel a little bit more comfortable on the road. But we're going to have to man up for that. But while we have these soft games, we got to take care of business. We got to take care of business now. So when we hit those road games, we'll be when we hit those road games, we'll be ready. Timberwolves 100, Philly 98, 17 seconds left. Yeah, I missed that. I wanted to see that game too, but that's cool. I'd much rather talk about the Knicks. I do have a TV screen and stuff in here, but I don't want to play it and hear the sound, because then I might get copyright infringement or something like that. But against OKC, I'm not going to live stream the game, but I might just get on and throughout the game, we can all chop it up throughout the game if people are on. And, just talk about what's happening, what's going on in the game. So we can talk. It might be fun. I'll definitely let you guys know after the Brooklyn game on Thursday, what I'm going to do about the OKC game. Yeah. We need everybody that's there to lose. How long has KP been in the league? You're a Lakers fan. Your Clyde. I don't think I could never take the place of Clyde. I did meet Clyde. I met Clyde a couple months ago when I was in at the game in DC, and I met him. It was pretty cool. I met him and Mike Breen. It was pretty cool. But yeah, KP's been in the league for 3 years now. This is his third year. Yep, black top was a black topaz. So he's getting there. He's gonna be something. That's the one. That's the leg up that we had on you guys tonight. Black topaz was KP. That's the leg up we had. Oh, you got this same thing? I think my son bought me this for Christmas like a year or two ago. Yeah, I know. You know what? He took a crazy leap. KP took a crazy leap from last year to this year. Last year he was good, but this year he's really taking a leap, and it's crazy. What it's gonna be in a couple of years. Yeah. KP is gonna be a monster in a couple of years. Exactly. Vote for him for the All-Star game. We need him up in there. We need him in there. Yeah, but you know what? Ingram is going to be good. Ingram's going to be good. He didn't have a good game tonight, but I think Ingram's going to be a pretty good player. He's nice, especially when he bulks up a little bit. He's going to be tough. All right, Ralph. I'm about to sign off in a few minutes myself. Just wanted to wrap it up a little bit, but I'm about to sign off and get ready for, whatever I got to do tomorrow. That last play Hornacek called in the fourth, I don't even know. I guess it was a play. I don't know if they just botched it up or what it is. Nah, Tony, I haven't been, but I'm going to get to his restaurant for sure. I don't know if I don't know, Ishmael, I don't know if they just botched up the play or if it was just a bad play call. I was rooting for Frank to take it. He had it there, he's dribbling. I thought he was going to go to the cup. But He didn't. Yeah, should have let Frank shoot it. That's what I thought. So he just, set a screen for Frank, set a high screen and roll for him, and let Frank create coming off that screen and roll. See what happened there. I mean, we were in a situation where we were either going to go into overtime or win the game. See what he can do. See what he can do. Give the guy a chance. Yeah, and some of the guys talking at halftime during the night's game, they said, if KP stays healthy, they think we'll be in the playoffs. That's good. The league is recognizing. That's good and bad, right? When the league starts to recognize, people start to find ways to stop you. But, hey, that's the NBA. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, Lee's had a couple of bad games in a row. I guess you can't stay hot the whole game, but thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. I hope you're back. I'll be back Thursday night after the game for sure. And then hopefully during the OKC game, I'll do something live. I'm going to keep them coming. Hey, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's, it's probably, I don't know what time it is, but I got to get ready for some things I got to do tomorrow. It's a bit pricey. I'm going to get up there, and when I go, Tony, I'm going to make sure I get at you so we can go hang out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to get at everyone when I'm up there, and maybe we can, all get the Clydes and chop it up. We're going to try to set something like that up. Because I plan on being in New York in January. So, I'm going to try to set up a date for us to get up there. And all of us get together and hang out, have a good time, meet. That'll be real cool. But I'm out, guys. And exactly, for the culture, my man. I'm out, and I will talk to you guys Thursday. Peace.